A woman suddenly rushed into her daughter's room, picked up a glass of water, and splashed it right in her face. But just as she let her daughter out of the room, a robber charged toward them. Judy quickly pulled her daughter, turned around, and ran into the elevator, slamming the door shut. The villa had 4 floors in total, and robbers were guarding both the second and third floors, so they hurried down from the 4th floor to the 1st. When the robber on the 3rd floor saw this, he ran down to the 1st floor to intercept them. At that critical moment, the daughter suddenly reminded her mother that there was a safe room on the 3rd floor. Judy immediately pressed the emergency button. The elevator had just reached the 1st floor when it turned around and headed back up to the 3rd. Using the time it took for the robbers to climb the stairs, she rushed out of the elevator with her daughter and burst into the safe room on the 3rd floor, closing the door just before the robbers could reach them. Once safe inside, Judy tried to call the police right away, but they had only moved into the mansion that day, and the phone in the safe room didn't work. They were completely cut off from the outside world. They had no idea why the robbers had broken in. Judy could only use the villa's intercom to scare them, lying that she had already called the police and telling them to leave before the cops arrived. But the 3 robbers knew full well that they had just moved in that day, and that the phone line in the safe room was disconnected, because the man they called Black was the one who had built the safe room. Since Judy was using a one-way intercom, she couldn't hear what the robbers were saying, so they found a piece of paper and a pen, writing to tell Judy that what they wanted was inside the safe room. If she opened the door, they would let the mother and daughter go unharmed. But Judy wasn't stupid. There was no way she would believe their lies, so she refused firmly. This drove the robbers into a panic. The leader wanted to smash through the ceiling of the 2nd floor to break into the safe room, but Black told them that even if they broke through the concrete wall, there was an unbreakable steel layer inside. The safe room couldn't be opened from the outside, it could only be unlocked from within. The noise of them hitting the wall had been heard by the next-door neighbor, who started banging on the wall in protest. The mother and daughter saw this and shouted for help, pounding on the wall as hard as they could. But the safe room was too thick, and their cries went unanswered. Meanwhile, Black spotted a gas tank outside the door and suddenly came up with an idea. He found a long hose, planning to drill into the ventilation pipe and pump gas into the safe room to force them to open the door. Watching this on the security monitor, Judy comforted her daughter, telling her not to worry. The safe room was surrounded by thick steel plates on all sides and couldn't be broken into easily. Moments later, Black inserted the hose into the vent and opened the valve. A strong smell of gas immediately filled the safe room.
What is it?
Black only wanted to drive them out, but when the other 2 saw that the door still wouldn't open, they turned the gas tank all the way up. Just as the robbers thought the mother and daughter had no way out, the 2 of them had pulled away the exhaust fan in the corner and found a vent leading outside. Not only had they avoided the trap, but they also found tape to seal off all the vents. Unfortunately, the tape tore quickly. Luckily, the safe room was well stocked. Judy found a lighter and decided to fight back. She took out fire blankets, wrapped one around herself and one around her daughter, then removed the vent cover and stuck the lighter inside the pipe, trying to ignite the gas. The lighter hadn't been used in a long time, so it took several tries to light. Black heard movement inside the pipe and sensed something was wrong. He tried to turn off the gas immediately, but it was too late. The second Judy successfully lit the lighter, the robber closest to the wall burst into flames. Black quickly put out the fire with a blanket, saving his life, but the man was badly burned on half his face. The mother and daughter inside the safe room were unhurt. When Black heard their loud coughing, he finally relaxed. If the 2 died inside, they would never get the $3 million hidden there. As soon as John heard about the huge sum of money, he pulled the others outside privately and demanded 1/3 of the cash. The leader agreed right away to get the money quickly, but when John saw how easily he gave in, he demanded half instead. The leader immediately started arguing with him. The house was his father's inheritance. Why should he give away half? Their fight grew louder, while Black watched from the shadows. Meanwhile, Judy and her daughter found a flashlight and tried to signal for help through a hole in the wall to the building across the street. They finally caught someone's attention, but to their horror, the person simply closed the curtains. The mother and daughter fell into complete despair. Just then, Judy noticed on the monitors that all the robbers had gathered on the 2nd floor, talking among themselves. The master bedroom on the 3rd floor was completely unguarded. She took the chance, opened the safe room door, and quickly ran to the nightstand to grab her phone. But she accidentally knocked over a lamp, which immediately drew the robbers' attention downstairs. By the time the robbers reached the 3rd floor, Judy had already grabbed her phone and safely run back into the safe room, closing the door. The robbers had no idea what she had done, so they checked the nightstand and only found a phone charger. Once Black realized she had taken her phone, he told the others with satisfaction that there was no signal inside the safe room. Even if she had the phone, she couldn't contact anyone. Sure enough, Judy soon discovered the same thing. Even holding her phone through the hole in the wall, she couldn't get any signal at all. But Judy refused to give up. She suddenly remembered that even though the line in the safe room was dead, the phone lines in other parts of the villa still worked. She might still be able to call the police. She opened the wiring channel on the wall and started pulling out the phone line. Black heard the noise inside the safe room and guessed Judy was trying to reach the phone line. He quickly opened the wall panel, but before he could do anything, Judy had already pulled the line inside. Black knew they were in trouble and ran downstairs to cut the line. But Judy had already connected it to a landline and successfully called her husband's home.
You gotta help us. There are 3 men upstairs. They broke into the house.
The line was cut off soon after, but Judy had managed to send a message. She was sure her husband wouldn't ignore her. Outside, the 3 robbers argued fiercely, unsure if Judy had actually called the police. The truth was, the house belonged to the robber leader's late father. He didn't want to split the inheritance with his 8 other siblings, so he brought Black and the others to steal the money hidden in the safe room. Even if he gave up now, he would still get $1.5 million. So he decided to quit and get medical help for his burned face. When Black and John heard this, they realized there must be tens of millions of dollars in the safe room. Otherwise, the leader wouldn't get $1.5 million even when split among 8 children. The leader realized he had let it slip and told them everything. A lawyer had sold the house to Judy just days earlier. According to the contract, she wasn't supposed to move in for another 2 weeks. That was why he had planned to steal the money while the house was empty. But he never expected that Judy, who was going through a divorce, moved in on the same day she bought the house, completely ruining his plan. Now they couldn't get into the safe room. Judy might have called the police, and the pain from his burn was unbearable. The leader insisted on giving up. But now that Black knew there were tens of millions inside, he wasn't going to quit. As the leader turned to leave, Black suddenly pulled out a gun and shot him without hesitation. Watching this on the monitors, the mother and daughter feared for their lives. The robbers didn't even spare their own partners. Just then, a figure appeared at the door.
Don't move. Don't you fucking move. Come here. Hey. Come on, shoot. Hey. Shut it. Lock it. Get the fuck away.
From that moment on, John took full control, and Black became his puppet. They stopped the stranger and realized it was Judy's wealthy husband, Stephen. After receiving Judy's call, Stephen hadn't called the police. He had come directly to save them. This meant Black and John could continue their plan. John held a gun to Black's head and ordered him to find a way to open the safe room. Meanwhile, inside the safe room, Judy noticed that her daughter, who had diabetes, was growing weaker from not having sugar for a long time. Without an immediate glucose shot, her life was in danger. At that moment, Black held up Stephen's ID in front of the camera, threatening to kill Stephen unless Judy opened the door. Worse still, the daughter suffered a seizure from extreme stress. Her life was hanging by a thread, and Judy immediately wanted to go out. She saw on the monitor that Black was dragging the other robber down from the 3rd floor. Judy thought they had turned on each other and that Black had killed him. She rushed out of the safe room and saw her husband lying unconscious on the bed, with no sign of the other 2 robbers. Her daughter's insulin was in the bedroom on the 4th floor. Thinking the coast was clear, she quietly went upstairs. Little did she know, the man lying on the bed wasn't her husband at all. It was John in disguise. The man Black had dragged downstairs was the real Stephen. Black and John had been faking a fight to trick Judy into leaving the safe room. Their plan was for John to guard the door while Black went inside to destroy the security tapes and take the money from the safe. But before they could act, Judy returned with the insulin. She saw a figure hiding behind the door and crashed into John unexpectedly. As she tried to run back to the safe room, she ran straight into Black. Realizing the door was about to close, Judy threw her daughter's insulin inside. But when Black shut the door, John's hand was caught, and his gun fell outside. The situation completely reversed. Judy stood outside with the gun, while the 2 robbers were locked inside the safe room. The only problem was that her daughter was still trapped with them. Without insulin soon, she could die. Black used the girl's life to blackmail Judy, ordering her to leave the 3rd floor bedroom. Judy opened the door long enough to free John's hand and let them inject the insulin into her daughter. The situation was temporarily calmed. Relieved that her daughter was safe, Judy went downstairs to check on her husband. Stephen had multiple fractures and could barely move. Even so, Judy handed him the gun, ready to fight the robbers to the death. Meanwhile, Black lifted the carpet in the bedroom and found a hidden safe inside the safe room. Using tools he had brought, he opened it. Inside, there was no cash, only thick stacks of bearer bonds worth more than $10 million. John didn't understand their value, but Black knew they were even more valuable than cash. He quickly hid the bonds inside his clothes and walked out of the safe room with the daughter, trying to escape through the side door. But all the doors were locked by Judy, except for one leading downstairs. Confused by her plan, they carefully went down.
Wait. You don't want to do that.
Let my daughter go. Your daughter's fine. We're gonna go out the back door. You're never gonna see us again.
Let her go.
Okay. Just let her go. Let her go.
Let go of her.
Just then, Judy appeared behind John and hit him with a hammer, sending him falling down the stairs. Taking the chance, Black ran out the back door and tried to climb over the wall, but John survived and staggered back upstairs. Judy told her husband to shoot John, but Stephen was too injured to aim and missed every shot. John had completely snapped and was determined to kill the whole family. As the only one able to fight, Judy grappled with him. Watching her mother struggle, the daughter grabbed a syringe and stabbed John repeatedly. John screamed in pain, threw the girl aside, and turned to kill Judy. At that moment, Black came back and shot John dead.
You're gonna be okay now.
Just then, the police arrived, having been called by the neighbor, and surrounded the mansion. In the end, Black had no choice but to surrender. As he raised his hands, the bonds worth over $20 million blew away in the wind. This bloody fight over money ended in nothing but disappointment. The bonds that had driven them to risk everything and kill floated like worthless paper in the wind, a sharp mockery of all greedy people. Black's brief victory was nothing but an illusion. The arrival of the police brought everything back to zero. Money can bring out the worst in human nature, but it can never fill the bottomless hole of greed. That's the end of today's story. See you next time.